Good morning, students. Again, welcome you to class 9. Myself, Subodh sir. I am going to continue the chapters that we had started. It is the constitutional design. I do hope you might have been remembering what we have discussed earlier. Today, in this video, we are going to discuss regarding the Constitution of South Africa. Constitution of South Africa. Before this constitution, the newly formed constitutions, South Africa had 4 more constitutions earlier to it. It was not the first one. It had a constitution of 1910. What was the constitution of 1910 and what were the effect of the constitution of 1910? It was granted the freedom from UK. South Africa was granted freedom from the UK. किसके हिसाब से? According to Constitution of 1910. इसके बाद भी Constitution बना था. It was 1961 and South Africa was declared republic. You might have been knowing what is the republic meaning. It means head of the state is an elected person, is not the monarch on the hereditary rule, it is there. Then it was 1983. In 1903, another constitution came. It was not the bicameral, it was the tricameral assembly. ये सब constitution चल रहा है. We will discuss later on. We have taken the help of the constitution of 1910. What provision we have taken? I am going to tell you. Let us please. 1993. It was the Interim Constitution and racial free election. And last one was in 1997. It was the 4th February 1997 that this constitution was totally came into force. Just before writing it, I have told you we have taken some provision from the constitution of South Africa. We have taken them from the constitution of South Africa. It was in 1910. While we were discussing about the making of the Indian constitution, we will discuss regarding it. In this one, the amendment procedure. In constitution, we had the amendment procedure. This amendment procedure, as well as the election for the upper house, means Rajya Sabha. This provision we have taken from the constitution of South Africa. Among these 5 constitutions which we have taken from the 1910. We are not bothering about these constitutions. We are going to discuss about the constitution of South Africa, that is a newly constitution which came into force in 1907, 4th February 1997. Now, this formation did not came in the first it has some pressures from the outside also. South Africa is also a multi-party system. It is very much needed that we must know the party system that was acting or affecting in the South Africa. One was the NP. It was the National Party. Means we can say party of white. And ANC, African National Congress. This party had fought against the apartheid because NP had been a ruling party since 1948. Party was formed quite earlier, but since then it was aggressively implementing the apartheid policy, segregation policies. In this policy, the most affected peoples were the blacks, who constitute 3/4 of the population. If we say the current scenario, we say the blacks still constitute around 80%, while white constitute around the 10%. It means blacks were in the majority and white were in the minority. Under the pressures from the international forum, it was become evident that apartheid rule is to be come to an end. F.D. Clark, who was the head of the National Party, means we can say head of the White Party. He just released in 1990. See the chronology, see the event. These two parties we are talking about. In 1919, some steps were taken by the NP or National Party. What were the steps? First steps, that they released the political prisoners. Releasing of political prisoners, at the same time they also lifted the ban from the political party. You may ask, sir, ANC to बहुत पुरानी political party. Yes, it was the political party, but it was not legalized. It was made legal in 1990 itself. Not before 1990, it was not considered as the legal party. When the National Party had given the rights to the political party, then only ANC became a legal party. Political prisoners were freed. Among the political prisoners, Nelson Mandela was also freed. He was freed from the jail after the 27 years. Out of these 27 years, he had spent 18 years in the most dreaded prison of the South Africa, that is called the Barren Island, where he had prisons. Then the other prisons here was also taken. In 1990, two events took place. Then they started conversations, negotiations among the different political parties. And the first negotiations came, they made it. It was the formation of CODESA, means Convention of Democratic South Africa. It was the Convention of Democratic South Africa. They met. When the meeting had taken place in 1990, it was with the 19 political groups or party. It had 19 political groups or party. अब यहाँ से क्वेश्चंस आना शुरू हो गया था because there was totally different from the India. Why so? Because we have discussed already that Indians had to make the rule for the Indians only. But here there were the two groups. One was the ruler, another one was the ruled. One was the oppressor, another one was the oppressed. एक ने यूज किया पावर का ब्रूटली सप्रेशन, another was the suppressed badly. The majority were the suppressed and the minority were the rulers. The white who were the minority, they were the rulers, and the blacks who were in the majority, they were the ruled. दोनों में difference. These two groups had to sit together, then frame of the constitution. It means both had the fear among themselves. दोनों में fear तो रहेगा. एक सीधा सिचुएशन, एक जो तानाशाही प्रवृत्ति से रूल कर रहा था, एक ऑप्रेस था. How the situations might have been theirs if both sit together and frame the constitution. It means situations were there. Interim Constitution of 1993 gave a proposal for the first racial free election. First racial free election. It means इसका पहले जो election होता था, it was not the racial free. It means blacks had no right to contest election. Black had no right to give the vote. Nothing was happening, only whites and some preference were given to color and the Indians. Blacks not at all. Very few. बोल सकते हैं कि वो 100% means 100% के पक्ष में हो गया. इन लोगों को कितना दिया जाए तो परसेंटेज देखो तो 90, उनको तो 100% था इधर. इनके पास थोड़ी प्रिविजन है. किसके पास था? Right to speech, Indians and the colored, and blacks had no right at all. They got the right only after 1990 when the political prisoners were released and political parties were given the authority to operate. Then they decided no, its name should be changed. And who will frame the constitution? It was decided the electoral committee or electoral parliament would constitute the frame the constitution. Then name was given MP. The name was given MP. Means multi-party negotiations process. It was the multi-party negotiation process in 1993. It has 26 political parties. It has 26 political parties. अब आ गया election. In the parliament, the election that took place in the South Africa. Election of South Africa. When the election of South Africa had taken place? The election of South Africa had taken place in 1994. You can say April 1994. इसमें लगभग 400 सीट्स थे. Not लगभग 400 सीट्स थे. It means to get the majority, how much is required? To get the majority, 201 is required for majority. We can say it was a simple majority. When the election held, almost 90%, 89% voters were turned out, and African National Congress got 252 and National Party got only 82 seats. And the rest other political party, you can say at 66 seats. Who were the winners? If we talk about the Senate, in Senate we can say the upper house. There were 90 seats. ये तो पार्लियामेंट का कंडीशन था. Then in Senate, where total 90s were required. In total 90, almost 60s were for African National Congress and the 70s was for National Party. और बाकी का जो बच गया, जो 13 बच गए, वो बाकी ग्रुप्स पर चले गए. It means politically the African National Congress, which was the party of the blacks, got the majority, and these two groups had to sit together and frame the constitution. Now fear was coming. The most abundant fear was in the mind of the white. As soon as the majority would come, then their property would be taken away. So they agreed on some provision for drawing the constitution. क्या दिमाग में रखा जाए, किस किस बात को दिमाग में रखा जाए. So it was obvious that if the election has taken place, majority is there, so white agreed. किस किस बात पे white agreed हो गए? They agreed on the rule of majority that had been discussed. Out of 400 shares, 252 were won by the African National Congress. National Party, which had been ruling the party of the white, were able to manage only 82 seats. The rule of the majority. ठीक है, accept कर लिया कि rule of the majority means जो रहेगा उसका rule है. Second, they also accepted one person, one vote and one well. Because we have read the many constitutions where the voting rights were not equally divided. We take the example of Fiji that we have read already. If we take the Estonia, the one person, one vote and one value, it is one of the characteristic features of the democracy. So white agreed on it. Then they also agreed basic rights, some basic rights means basic rights to be given, provided to the poor and workers. Means poor and workers should also be provided the basic rights. On these three conditions, the white agreed. क्या क्या था? Rule of the majority. Obvious. The election has taken place. Whose party would form the government? Obviously, ANC would form the government because they had got more than the majority. Because they required only 201 seats, they have got 252. One person, one vote and one value. मतलब कि we can say on one platform they brought on the equality before the law, equality in the political equality, and basic rights to poor, because who were the poor? The poor were the blacks and the Indians and the colored. White were not the poor. The basic rights should be given to the poor and the workers. Black also agreed some principle. means rule of majority would not be absolute, बदला नहीं लेगा, डिक्टेटर नहीं बनेगा. And second means majority would not take away property of minority. Means what? Majority means either you can say black would not take away the property of the white. They simply agreed on these principles, then say set together. Who were the constitutional framers? The constitution framers were the parliament. And who were the parliament? I have given you the data. According to the data, African National Congress who had 252 seats, and National Party, who were the rulers, had got merely 82 seats, and the other political parties, they combinedly able to form the rest 66 seats. They started this. Then we have been discussion. Rule of majority. We have got the rule of minority also. Both the groups set together, parliament set together. One principle that was given, that no one be excluded and no one be treated as demo. No one be excluded. With the no one, obviously it is understandable that no one excluded नहीं छोड़ा सकता. It means they will be talking about the black and the colored peoples. No one be treated the demon राक्षस किसको नहीं माना जाएगा, demons नहीं माना जाएगा. It means we are talking about the white peoples. It was the basic concept that kept in mind on what conditions the black agreed upon, on what conditions the white agreed upon. Then they started making the constitution. Discussion, it took 2 years. Indian constitution also took more than the 2 years, almost 3 years. This constitution took the 2 years. They started discussing, and in constitutions, they started with the preamble. Preamble is generally the introduction to the constitution. Preamble is the Indian constitution also start with the preambles. It starts with the "We the people of India." In the same way, the constitution of South Africa also start with the preamble. Then it has 14 chapters. It has 14 chapters and 244 articles or sections, and it had 8 schedules. The Constitution of South Africa starts with a preamble. All the constitutions start with preambles. A preamble is actually the summarized form of the constitution. It reflects the idea of the constitution. How many chapters? It is divided into the 14 chapters. How many articles? It has 244 articles and 8 schedules. Among these, the chapter Chapter 2 consists Bill of Rights. Chapter 2 explains about the Bill of Rights. It is said that it provides all the rights that are necessary for the people's overall development. We also have all the rights, but few rights we have taken later on, it had got earlier on. For example, rights to information. Rights to information was included in the fundamental rights. Means among the rights, among the basic rights, they are not saying the fundamental rights, they are saying the basic rights. It was among the basic rights. Right to information. Later we had included rights to information in our constitution, RT that is called, it was in 2005. ये difference देखने को मिला. How they are far ahead, 1997, and our constitution being the older one, we had added it. ये parts हो जाएगा, add कर देंगे ये article 19 and 21. Then right to education. Later on, it has been included in article right to RT. It is in article 21. It was recently, few years back, it has been added. But it was the part of the constitution framework. It means few rights that we have added to our constitution later on, they have already included. Right to privacy. Right to privacy is not the part of our fundamental rights. They have been given. Right to clean environment. It is not, it is our need, but it has been not been included in our fundamental rights. It means in few rights, they are very far ahead of us. Right to life, yes, it is mentioned in our constitution. Right to privacy, not mentioned. Right to environment, not mentioned in our constitution. So these are the basic rights. There are many basic rights which make the constitution of South Africa far ahead of the constitution of India. While before making the constitution, drafting the constitution, Nelson Mandela was the first elected black president of the South Africa, had told to the peoples and argued the peoples that we should forget about whatever has done in the past. We just forget whatever we have done or it has been done to us by the whites to the blacks. We have to forget it, we have to sweep it and form a colorful South Africa. They made the colorful South Africa, and all the basic rights which are present in the constitution of South Africa, it is not found in the constitution of the other countries also. That we have given you the example. The right to life, right to life is mentioned. Right to property. In our constitution, earlier it was the part of fundamental rights. Now it is not the part of fundamental rights. It is only the legal rights. Right to property has been given. Many sections has been given in the Constitution of South Africa. According protection against search and the detention, it has been given. If we take the summarized forms, the Parliament actually has made the Constitution of South Africa. It was made legal or came into act on December 1996. It was signed by the President Nelson Mandela and came into force on 4th February 1997. This constitution, new constitution of which we are talking about, it is a ideal constitution of the world. Why the ideal constitution? It is very much clear that it is ideal constitution because the rulers and ruled sat together and frame the constitutions, and first they draw out on what basis we have to talk. It means in this video we have gone through it and got it. Constitution of South Africa, framing of the Constitution of South Africa.